Welcome back. James McGregor Burns, in his 1978 work Leadership, distinguished between transactional and transformational leadership. Transactional leaders figure out what people want and promise them that incentive, if those people perform some instrumental acts for the leader. In contrast, a transformational leader envisions how the world should be and convinces others to work for that. A major difference between the two approaches is that transactional leaders do not individualize the goal and are not concerned with the advance of the followers. With transactional leadership, there is an exchange of values between adults who take responsibility for their situation. So, transactional leadership is based on appealing to the self-interest of followers through a system of rewards and punishments. There is a focus on compliance with current policy and procedures so the status quo is maintained. Incentives motivate employees to learn standard approaches and apply them to the mission. Transactional leadership measures each member's work to discover and highlight deviations, and it takes corrective actions for faults and deviations. This is known as management by exception. Transactional leadership is effective in crises, and it's effective for standardized work that is carried out in a routine manner. It's effective for work where the knowledge of the domain is well known. On the other hand, transformational leaders have a strong set of ideals, and they are effective at motivating followers to act in ways that support the greater good rather than their own self-interests. It was a reaction and a move away from transactional leadership models with their emphasis on contingent rewards and management by exception. Transformational leadership is change-oriented. It questions the status quo. What's important is the transformational leader's vision. The leader influences team members to value outcomes and to transcend self-interest. Team members or followers work for the good of the team. When new problems arise that defy existing solutions, it is necessary to change because the status quo won't work. And this is where transformational leadership has the potential to help the situation if the transformational leader's vision is an appropriate reaction to the new status, to the new context. Likewise, with disruptive change in the environment, it is necessary to transform the organization. So, the leader's inspirational motivation in transformational leadership guides the team members to embrace risk and learning so they can work in a new and unfamiliar area. The leader communicates the meaning of the team mission that has been translated from the team leader's vision. The leader creates confidence that the team can achieve the goals set out by that mission. As a role model, the leader exerts idealized influence on the team about how they should behave. Key behaviors are to respect and encourage others, learning, commitment to the team, and intellectual stimulation. One of the extreme forms of transformational leadership is charismatic leadership. This is a form of transformational leadership that emphasizes idealized influence and inspirational motivation. It emphasizes the leader as a strong role model who can be counted on to do the right thing. However, charismatic leadership does not promote the mutual engagement of the followers. They don't really count in this model. Instead, the personality image of the leader is used to drill admiration and obedience into the followers. What counts is the charismatic leader and their vision. So we've talked about leadership theories that are based on the leader. And there are some issues with these leader-centric models when applied to global virtual teams. The foundation of these old theories was close supervision over subordinates in the organization. And that's not very easy to accomplish on a global virtual team. Those old leader-centric models study patterns of employee supervision to understand leadership in a changing world. Consequently, they are leader-centric and do not always address the challenges of global virtual teams. Establishing collaboration and cooperation is more difficult using technical tools rather than face-to-face methods. Moreover, what inspires one culture may raise suspicion in another. And building trust and credibility in a virtual, multicultural environment requires adaptive approaches. An essential aspect of team leadership is to ensure team success and avoid team failure. Leadership functions can be performed by the formal team leader or by team members. When team members are potential leaders, the form of leadership is known as shared or distributed leadership. This involves sharing the influence that team members claim when they step up to take action. The formal leader steps back and gives the team members the reins, the team member who steps up the reins of leadership so that they can lead the team through a particular activity. Advocates of shared leadership assert that it allows faster response to complex situation. Here, the leadership under the shared leadership model, the leadership is provided by anyone on the team who feels they understand the situation, they have the skills to address the problems or issues that confront the team. Virtual multicultural environments are a new normal in the modern work context, and they require different approaches to build trust and credibility. Hierarchical leadership institutionalizes structural authority with close supervision that is not possible in virtual environments. Hierarchical leadership institutionalizes structural authority with close supervision that is not possible in virtual environments. The old hierarchical model may not be appropriate for global virtual teams. Hierarchical authority models may not be appropriate under the modern knowledge economy. So a new approach to leadership is needed for aligning interest and resolving conflict. Shared leadership is a proposed solution to the challenges of the modern economy. Yukel suggests that leadership is the process of influencing others to understand and agree about what needs to be done and how to do it. It is the process of facilitating individual and collective efforts to accomplish shared objectives. Shared leadership is not focused on authorities who make final decisions. Instead, it defines fitting the work for a team, and that team takes responsibility for accomplishing the work. Team members take the initiative even if they have no formal authority, and leaders respect that entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, another form of follower-focused leadership is known as servant leadership. It's in contrast to other forms of leadership such as transactional, transformational, and shared leadership, in that the leader is the servant of the followers. Servant leadership originated in the writings of Robert Greenleaf in the 1970s. Although it may seem a paradox, it was the intent of the United States Constitution and the American government to provide servant leadership. The government was to be the servant of the people, not their taskmaster. Servant leadership focuses on the needs of followers rather than followers taking the reins of leadership. But we include it in this section because of its focus on followers. It is focused on where the leader should be concerned with the followers, and it emphasizes and nurtures them. There's a continuum known as the organizational leadership assessment that takes servant leadership and provides a spectrum of different styles that go through paternalistic to autocratic leadership. So servant leadership is where the government or the leader is the servant of the people and helps the people accomplish their goals. In paternalistic leadership, the leader becomes a little bit more than a servant. They become a parent, and they put the needs of the organization first and consider members and followers as kind of childlike, and they serve them and lead them in the correct direction. And the problem with paternalism is members and followers become like children over time rather than productive members of a team. And this can also evolve or progress into autocratic leadership, where the desires of the leader become the goal of the organization and the members become the servants. The strongest organizations concentrate on followers, on servant leadership, to grow servants as leaders rather than as children. Okay, let's take another 5-minute break.